to the IRS targeting scandal now. My next guest represents more than 40 organizations in a federal lawsuit against the IRS and says the Obama administration is doing everything it can to stall its phony investigation. Joining us now is Jay Sekulow. He's chief counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice. Good to have you with us. Let me start.
Lou, thanks for having me back.
Hey, our pleasure. Let me start, though, with this back and forth nonsense about missing emails, which we have said, by the way, on this broadcast from the outset, according to our experts, that those were retrievable. Yep. They were not lost, and it's pure bunk what's been spewed. And to find out that Lois Lerner's BlackBerry was destroyed, was wiped clean. I mean, somebody needs to go to jail here, right?
Well, I mean, look, you talk about a classic case of obstruction of justice. And by the way, her BlackBerry was wiped, cleared out, after litigation had been filed in a companion case alleging targeting, and after the congressional investigations had already started, Lou. So the IRS, the Department of Justice, the FBI, everybody was on notice, but amazingly, her computer crashes, as they said. They then say her documents are not retrievable. Then, of course, you have the admission earlier in the week, this week, where pursuant to a Freedom of Information Act request, there was discussions that, in fact, there is a mass backup unit, which we all know exists, but they said it was too burdensome to get to. And then just, miraculously for Lois Lerner and for the FBI and the Department of Justice, and I might add the president, they, her emails are wiped off of her BlackBerry too, so nothing there. No one can believe this. It's lying. It's lying under oath to Congress. And I'll tell you something, when you look at the transaction that took place between the lawyer that was litigating the case that the cases we're involved in, Lou, there was a companion case where a group called Z Street, it was a pro-Israel group that had been targeted. The lawyer that was representing the IRS had actually been involved in the targeting when he worked for Treasury, then went over to the White House counsel's office, where he worked for the president, then over to the Department of Justice, and now he's also mysteriously no longer involved. So this is a cover-up and obstruction of justice of really proportions we haven't seen in my lifetime.
What is it going to take to get to the heart of this case? Because now the evidence is conclusive. I mean, to me, at least as a layman, I'm not talking in legal terms, but Koskinen, the head of the IRS, who's supposed to be clean, is as dirty as he can be. He's either...
well, I mean, he went to Congress. I mean, you're right. I mean, he went to Congress just a couple weeks back at the end of July saying, we did everything we could to retrieve it. We weren't able to do it. That was not true. What it's going to take, which is not going to happen initially, and that is a call for a special counsel. Well, there's been congressional hearings on it. I've testified on it. It's the classic case of when you need one. The Department of Justice is incapable of investigating itself. In fact, they're involved in this other scandal as part of this IRS mess, where they were part of an IRS attempt to make criminal cases out of what they called, let's piece together false claim cases, false application cases. Of course, no evidence of any false applications there, but they were participating. So the idea that the Department of Justice can somehow review itself is absurd. We're in federal court. I'll tell you this, Lou, also, and this is some good developments here. In a companion case, the Z Street case, very similar fact situation, a U.S. District Court judge there has allowed the case to move forward as ordered discovery. Right. And also in other cases, the IRS is being put on notice that no one, including federal court judges, are buying this destruction of evidence accident that the IRS seems to still, and the president seems to still maintain.
As you say, that is good news, and it's progress, and it's positive. Yet it's we've been now with the next development has been pushed off, as I understand, to the month of October. Still, I mean, the American people have it staring at them straight in the face that this government is corrupt, that the Internal Revenue Service has been used as a political tool, a hammer,
absolutely,
against innocent people whose only problem was that they were on a different side of the political spectrum than the people running the Internal Revenue Service. I mean, this is a corrupt
their only problem was they exercised their First Amendment rights to free speech. That was the government's problem with what they did. But, Lou, this points to a deeper problem. And that how are they getting away with this? And the fact of the matter is, I'll tell you this, if there's a change in the Senate, and the Senate can start holding hearings as well, and you got the House and the Senate making demands, that could change the entire scope of what happens here. Because I don't think then that Attorney General Holder can just ignore the reality of what would be bearing in on his Department of Justice. Because right now he's not acting like an attorney or a general, frankly.
But we've been talking about this, it seems, for years. It's about a year and a half. But the reality is nothing here has changed. The facts are the same. We're just discovering more of them. The administration continues to cover them up, as you say. At what point does this dam break and the truth flow into the public?
When we get our first discovery orders, and that may be months ahead yet, but when the discovery starts and Lois Lerner is put under oath and she again asserts the Fifth Amendment, the problem is, in a criminal case you can do it and it's not an admission of liability. In a civil case, you assert the Fifth Amendment, it means what we've alleged is true. And then I think you see a domino effect. Frankly, I'd really be looking at giving her some form of immunity to get to the bottom of this because, Lou, I don't believe for a moment. My first job out of law school was a long time ago, but it was in the Office of Chief Counsel of the IRS, the lawyers that are involved in this. And I am proud of the agency when I was there. It's changed a lot over time, obviously. But I'll tell you something, Lou. The reality is this isn't start and stop with Lois Lerner. I think this connect now between this lawyer that was at the White House, the Department of Justice, and at IRS, I think that speaks volumes. And all of these people need to be put under oath. And if they all start asserting the Fifth Amendment, well, then we know what we've got.
Jay Sekulow, thanks very much, and we will be following you as we have throughout very, very carefully. Thanks, Jay.